Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, welcome back.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
It is. It is.
Pre-BlizzCon episode.
Yeah, this is it, guys. This is the last episode of Into the Nexus ever. Wait, no.
Wait,
no.
whoa, what?
Last episode before BlizzCon. That's true.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's all good now.
Kyle's like, wait a minute.
Whoa.
What's going on, man?
We're going to go to BlizzCon. We're going to digest all the information for ourselves, go home and take a nap. Yep. Never see you
pretty
guys
much.
again.
Pretty much. Bye, guys. It was nice knowing you.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I mean, you always look forward to BlizzCon, right? Like, has there ever been an instance in anyone's life where they had a BlizzCon ticket and they're like, I don't need to go. I'm not that excited. It's just one of the biggest nerd conventions of the year with 24,000 of my closest friends. You know,
we get to do our sweet meetup the night before. It's going to be awesome seeing so many of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So next week, guys, don't forget on what is the date? Thursday, November 5th. Come on over to the Bowlmore Bowling Alley in the Anaheim Garden Walk Mall at 8 p.m. for the BlizzCon Bowling, AMove TV, FrogPants.com annual BlizzCon meetup. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
I feel like we should say it's was it techno bowling? What's the phrase?
I don't know.
Where you have music and then there's like projecting screens and the balls glow in the dark.
I don't know what to tell you. It's
I don't know. It ain't your grandpa's bowling alley, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but it's the same every year, so it like doesn't feel special. I just assume that this bowling alley does that all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
After hours.
It's Cosmic Bowling.
Bowling.
Thank you, chat room. Cosmic Bowling. Ah, yes. How lest we forget the days of going and listening to jock jams while we try to knock down pins with our balls. Of course, the very important question always asked over the PA system. Y'all ready for this?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I never am.
You never ready to bowl?
No.
No? Okay. Cool. Well, again, if you want more details, head on over to amove.tv and just look for the BlizzCon Bowling Meetup post. There's all the info there. Go check it out. So that's really cool. We're doing this episode earlier in the week because this week is insane. I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing it by now, but I'm getting married this weekend. So, Kyle, you will actually be on a plane tomorrow, and you'll be here on Thursday, and we're just going to be setting up for a wedding. So we won't be able to do the regular show on Thursday, so we're doing it today, Tuesday, so you guys don't miss out on an episode of Into the Nexus, so we can really, really get hyped up for BlizzCon. Super stoked for it. Now, Kyle, let's dive into it. This week's Heroes of the Storm news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can stitches play now?
Yeah, I love it when... Oh, cigar fell in the... Oh, wait!
Makes me sad that is no longer relevant with Tychus's cigarless model.
No, but he still says it, so, as long as we don't see it, I guess it's okay.
Well, that's why. That's where it went. His effing cigar fell down to his effing suit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Anyways, just a reminder, by the way, everyone, if you want to submit a story to us or talk about the stories we're discussing on the show, head on over to itncast.reddit.com. That is our subreddit for the show, and let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Bit of a lighter news week, possibly because we're doing the show earlier in the week than usual, but probably the biggest news is actually, you may have already heard about it, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it on this show, is that Blizzard is actually starting a new eSports division. This isn't Heroes specific, but this will obviously affect Heroes in the long haul because it's a big esport. Former ESPN and NFL CEO Steve Bornstein is going to be the chairman of a new Blizzard esports division. It looks like this is also branching out to Activision as a whole. So Activision Blizzard is going to have this whole big new esports division run by an ex-NFL CEO, which is just insane. Just wrap your head around that, Kyle.
The only thing I can comprehend is that money is involved, and it's going to be expensive and hopefully good for us.
I hope so. I hope so indeed. There wasn't a ton of information really given with this announcement. There's also Mike Sepso. He is a former MLG co-founder and president. He's going to be the senior vice president of this new esports division. No official name was given for the new division. However, back in August, the name, quote, just Compete, that's the only name, was registered by Blizzard. So this is, again, back in August. And you can actually look up the trademark registration. We have a link to it in the show notes. If you haven't seen it already, amove.tv/ITN for the show notes. Make sure to check the episode 73 post. If you look up the trademark registration, it identifies Compete as, quote, providing an online, non-downloadable, internet-based system application featuring technology enabling users to organize and promote esports tournaments, to create and customize tournament brackets and ladders, track tournament progress, maintain statistics, and post results. So,
Great.
just esports, and you could have just like it
Right.
does esports is what this does apparently. So it sounds like we're getting like an out-of-game client kind of competitive companion to Blizzard games.
Sure.
It's what it sounds like is coming down the pipeline, and there's no official word if this is tied into to this new esports division. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say very high chance. You know, if it has to do with esports, it's probably going to be tied up into this new division, and that's exciting to hear. If for no other reason, we've been wanting Blizzard to be a little more hands-on with the back end, the logistics of running tournaments within their games for a long time now. It's something we talk about on The Angry Chicken all the time. And we mention here, if for no other reason than because we really want draft mode, because we're watching all of these Heroes esports and we would love our in-game Heroes of the Storm experience to be more one-to-one with the esports experience we're having as spectators.
Right, you can't completely read into it because The Dark Below was trademarked how long ago, and nothing's been done with that one.
Yes, it has.
So, has it?
Yeah.
What did that become?
It's a forum.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. 2009 called.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's things that make me nervous, of course. NFL. We've done the ESPN thing. It was oddly received. It was very cool for us as fans, but at the same time, you had to cut a lot of the game we wanted to show. MLG also, kind of weird because they move on and off of games so quickly. And of course, nowadays they have sort of that joke stigma of the power drinks and the guys with their special glasses on. I mean, they're practically commercials wearing the Nintendo gloves.
Oh man, you're being a little hard on MLG, I feel like.
They supported a esports community when no one else would. That is awesome, right?
Yes.
It was hard as fans of certain games to watch MLG move on so quickly and sometimes mismanage their participants.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with all that.
Right, it is a business, right? I'm not insane. These guys, are fans of, Sundance, big fan of Halo. Maybe not particularly those other games. And we're all human.
Yeah. Also, in reference to all of this, Activision Blizzard will be hosting an Investor Day from the floor of BlizzCon. This is going to be taking place at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time on Friday, November 6th. That is the first day of BlizzCon. This is going to be happening just before BlizzCon's opening ceremony, so it's going to wrap up right. So I feel like Mike Morheim's going to be doing this investors thing, and then just walk in one door, out the other, and be at the podium for the opening ceremony.
There's actually a whole nother stage behind the main stage, and he just walks behind the curtain.
Yeah,
and he's on the other one.
Hello, BlizzCon. And everyone
Hello,
cheers
investors.
Exactly.
With a big like turning table that he just stands on as it slowly goes around.
Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Like it sounds like there's going to be maybe a more company-wide esport effort by Activision and Blizzard. So we might see some crossover in the way the esports are handled for, say, Call of Duty and Hearthstone, StarCraft, Heroes of the Storm, World of Warcraft Arena, etc.
There's, of course, is the problem that you can't really do catch-all esports. They're very particular. Sports have seasons, so there can be fans of football that then enjoy basketball, that then enjoy hockey, because they kind of happen at different times throughout the year. But any show or program that has tried to do esports in general has basically, for the most part, failed because it's hard to hold on to that audience. I'm curious to know how they're going to divide it up. But naturally, I'd love some sort of Blizzard button right below Overwatch or whatever that just says watch, and it just shows me whichever game in the Blizzard universe is happening right now. And of course, in client, we have the watch button, which gets us all really excited. and it hasn't been utilized quite yet.
Yeah. Again, I think it'd be good if it was segmented to the specific game. So if you want to watch Overwatch, you have to tab to it. If you want to watch Heroes, you have to tab to Heroes. I don't think it necessarily should be just whatever Blizzard game happens to be on, because like you said, the catch-all doesn't really work. I mean, think about traditional sports. You don't just turn on like sports channel. It's like, well, what's on? Let's roll the roulette wheel. Oh, we got professional highlight. I really like NFL, but I guess I'll watch this. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always go back to highlight when I try to think of a really obscure sport, but that's where I end up.
You really skip some nice Olympic ones too, but
yeah. There's
it works for you. You make it your own.
Lawnmower racing, that could be another one.
Ooh, wait, is that really a thing?
That's really a thing. Have you not seen it?
No, but I don't live in the South.
Shut up. Yeah, but this excites me. I would like to see Blizzard kind of polish their esports footprint. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice how as it is. It's nice having Blizzard kind of putting the onus on us, the community, be like, no, it's you guys do it. We'll support you, but go for it. But at the same time, it's like, no, we really would like a little more support. Like, please. I mean, people are asking for it. So I'm interested to see what this brings. But check it out. We got more links in the show notes. All right. So Artanis has been out for a week now, and now you should be able to get him even if you did not pre-order, correct?
That is correct. He is up on the main screen, standing in front of a planet, doing his Artanis-y thing. He's a little full of himself, to say the least. It'll be nice to see Artanis as a character inside of StarCraft, rather than the Artanis we have here, which is, the fully realized leader of the Protoss, no struggles, just a dude kicking butt.
Well, Kyle, wouldn't you be a little full of yourself if you had barely been mentioned in previous games, and then for the final installment in a massive franchise, everything is about you seemingly out of nowhere?
He was a pretty big deal in Brood War, but he did kind of come out of left field, as many as those characters did, just because you had to fill out a story. It's the sequel.
Yep.
You go to Avengers 1 and tell me about Hawkeye's wife, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's whatever.
All right. But then it becomes the best part of the new one, so.
Well, yeah, but that's a tangent I'm not going to go off in.
Well, good for you. Nice self-control.
Avengers 2 wasn't that great.
Just going to walk by it.
Yeah. Blizzard designer Nathan Lamuzga, I'm probably butchering his name. As someone with a butcherable last name, I apologize. But he recently did an interview with RGJ.com all about Artanis, and kind of dove into exactly what the goal was with designing him. He went in saying that knowing how important Artanis is going to be to the story coming up in Legacy Void, and the complete and utter lack of a StarCraft warrior in Heroes, that it was really a perfect match when they decided they were going to make Artanis the first StarCraft warrior. Also, when asked about what kind of sets Artanis apart from existing warriors, he immediately said, "Well, it's that his survivability is directly tied to his aggression, and also that being aggressive is really all he can do at most times."
Yeah, once you're in, you're committed, and if you choose to run away, you better have someone to back you up on that.
Right, and that's exactly what your first impression was last week when we were talking about it.
Which just continues to just pile on the Tassadar love for me, particularly with Force Wall. The fact that my auto attack can heal me when he does the leeching plasma. He's got great survivability with me. Just such a great sort of theory crafted world we live in with Artanis Tassadar right now, and the Force Wall, so you can actually get out if you call a bad engage.
Yeah. Also, an interesting little note came up this week that Artanis's melee range is, well, half that of competing warriors. For example, Skeleton King and Arthas, their melee range is 2. Artanis's is 1.
Right. I mean, Skeleton King, big tall guy, big old hammer. Okay, some swing distance. Arthas, two-hander that he wields with one hand because he's awesome. But people have been noticing when they're caught in something like Arthas's ice, they can't attack Arthas back while he wails on them. Same thing with Sonya. Every single melee warrior has a range of 2. And so Artanis is kind of suffering a little bit because of this. And we don't know if it's an oversight, kind of like the Tychus thing we talked about weeks and weeks ago, where they just never really updated his auto attack range.
Right, I've been digging. There doesn't seem to be an official comment by Blizzard on this yet.
No.
So I'm interested to see if it's working as intended, or if it is bad, we'll fix.
Which we don't know any of those this week because Dustin Browder has disappeared into the depths of BlizzCon planning, we're sure.
Yes, we don't get to play our Dustin Browder bumper, which always makes me sad because it's wonderful.
Yeah, well, he's gone a bit quiet on Twitter, and that's to be expected.
Right, BlizzCon's just around the corner. Lots of, I'm sure, things to announce for Heroes of the Storm. We know we're going to see new Battlegrounds. We know we're going to see new heroes. Does not surprise me at all that some of the more vocal personalities on Team 1 are kind of keeping it quiet. Because this is the home stretch. We'll have a lot of things to chew on in 2 weeks' time.
There was a slight patch today, just a couple of megabytes that fixed a number of things. One, put the background in and Artanis up. But two, it fixed the little issue with him taking triple strike and his charge, which allowed him to do 4 basic attacks in a row if you timed it right. You could do a little trick to pump out a little extra attack on Artanis, and that's now fixed.
Oh, but that sounds so awesome.
Yeah, well, it kind of happened. It was completely unintentional, of course, but it also happened everywhere last week because Zealot Charge by the end of Friday was really the spec to have. There's no way to close that distance as Artanis and get off a very slow, short-range prism at someone, and Charge is the required pick. It's no longer that shield surge at level 16, at least for now.
Nice. I'm really glad you're still enjoying him. You're still kind of sticking with Mr. Artanis.
I am. I'm really eager to bring him into Heroes League, but Sonya's kicking so much butt right now, and she's so well designed after so many iterations that if you want to play a brawler and you don't want to be main tank, go Sonya is basically the answer right now.
Nice.
So until Sonya, I don't want her to get nerfed. I think she's in a very cool place. We all need to learn to counter her together. And then maybe Artanis will have his own place with his unique abilities. But until then, if you want to brawl, go Sonya. Artanis solo tank is a little rough.
Yeah. Let's talk about Tassadar for a bit. Another one of your personal favorites. A really great article went up on Gosu Gamers this week, written by Man Mode, a.k.a. Jacob, about how Tassadar is on top, at least in the tournament scene. He's got a 49% pick rate and a 71% contention in pro games.
Contention, of course, being that he's banned or picked in that many games.
Exactly. So he has some good combos well with Tyrande.
Which is just breaking my poor alpha meta heart. The number of times we were gearing up in old Heroes League, Garrett, and we saw that Tyrande pop up, and someone's like, we could make a full support with Tassadar, and you just went, oh no, you ruined everything.
Don't do it. And that's so not the case right now. Though I would caution players trying these type of things in pickup games. But yeah, give it a shot if you've got a 5-stack or at least enough friends with mics that you can make this happen safely. It's nice. It really is nice because you get good, decent healing, but you're also getting wonderful damage output from both of the heroes that are supporting the team.
And they both have talent choices that you can sort of meander through. And if you find midway through that you're lacking damage, you can make up for that in the late game.
Yeah, those are both heroes that don't have set in stone builds. They're flexible, which is nice.
It's interesting that in the little trailer they put together for Artanis that they gave him the Void Ray ability. He shoots his laser for slow. Oh, just odd.
Well, for Artanis or for Tassadar?
No, for Tassadar.
For Tassadar.
The Tassadar is spec'd a certain way in the video.
Well, if you're trying to sell it to StarCraft fans, I feel like a Void Ray, like just seeing the beam and hearing the sound, like that would have an effect on me. It's like, oh,
maybe
man.
It'd be a little upsetting if Hero of the Protoss Tassadar went whomp and threw that little disappointing ball at his enemies.
Yeah. It's got to give him something a little beefier. Tassadar also combos really well with Karazim, Just phenomenal at keeping your squishies alive with the combination of Karazim's burst healing and the shields from Tassadar.
Yeah, so these shields are actually going off on the Karazim, so he can get in, do the damage he needs to actually get the heals off.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing this quite a bit recently. In fact, Team Blaze used it in their pro match this past weekend.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Team Blaze and how they're upsetting our solo queues in a little bit. So how is solo Tassadar panning out in these matchups?
You basically have a ridiculous amount of burst, and you just blow everyone up, and you win the game rather swiftly.
Gotcha. So you're not banking on needing support. You're just banking on everyone being dead, so you don't need the heals.
Right. So the first thing that happens is everyone on the enemy team goes, they're messing up, guys. We've got this. And then all of a sudden, there's Illidan's jumping you. They've got like an Abathur on them. There's something that you've done that says we don't have enough damage to run a normal support like Uther, Rhaegar, Karazim to an extent. He can pump out some decent damage. Mm-hmm. And so you go Tassadar so you can support that with damage, and then you just give him the shields. And it's a feat. I've seen it work a couple times. I've seen it fail more times right now in solo queue anyway.
Yeah. So, and then the article also mentions Tassadar, Abathur, Murky, Karazim, Muradin, which blows my mind.
And this actually means that it's not that they're doing some sort of Tassadar, Abathur, and like the Muradin's doing all the work. No, in this particular spec, that one, it was everything on top of the Murky to make him the invincible brawler, and should he die, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's gross.
It's just like I love the idea of investing that type of putting that much investment in Murky.
Yeah.
It just seems so silly. But I now want to go and try this. I want to try and be the Murky on the receiving end of that type of support.
Oh, it'd be fun for sure. Don't attempt to pull it off in solo.
No, not at all. A lot of this stuff I would caution against if you're solo queuing, but nonetheless, really great article. A lot more detail. Obviously, we're not going to say it all here, so go check it out over at ghostygamers.net. It's titled Tassadar Surges with Power in Recent Tournaments. Go find it, give it a read. Now let's talk real quick a little bit more about Team Blaze, Kyle, because as we kind of alluded to, their recent tournament picks have kind of upset the solo queue, specifically that we're seeing a lot of solo tank Diablos in Hero League.
Yes, I ran into quite a few myself, and it was really confusing. Mainly because right now Diablo is very easy to counter. Mentally, you just kind of make a few adjustments and you're ready to go. But in Team Blaze's case, they did this Diablo, Tyrande, Tassadar thing, and it worked out great for them. Mainly because Diablo has such a ridiculously large health pool that a normal solo support isn't going to be able to actually top him off without wasting all their mana and all their cooldowns. So you have this juggernaut out in front that if he takes too much damage, he'll just pour it out. But you're putting the shields on top of him. You've got an extremely mana-effective heal with Tyrande. And if he's getting off those auto attacks with the Leeching Plasma, he's healing himself. He's got battle momentum, so he's attacking anyway. And it worked out rather well. And in fact, it's that same sort of thing we've talked about with needing to bring stuns in. And Diablo's fulfilling that role. He was all the snags that they had to pull off their comp.
Nice. I haven't had a chance to watch these matches. I want to now knowing all this, because like I got in a couple of Hero Leagues this week and just like, why Diablos? I mean, go for it, but
the THC Hero Brawl did suffer from, it had a lot of casted games, but some of these cooler ones didn't get casted, and they're redone by the team itself or amateur casters. It makes it sound like a bad word, but the production quality is a little odd if you do look these up for yourself. But it's amazing that a smaller tournament like this really affected our at-home meta.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm really anxious to see, and it's sad that, well, not super sad. I keep saying this. I'm obviously excited to go on the honeymoon, but part of me wishes I'd be around to see what happens to Hero League immediately following the Heroes World Championship.
Yeah.
Because every year, 2 years now with the Hearthstone ones, we saw the meta shift that day. That day, you'd go hit up ladder and you'd see all the decks from the tournament being played. And I'm really anxious to see what effect the World Championship has on the heroes, especially going into Hero League, because I'm sure we're gonna see some things happen, especially with this multinational group of competitors that maybe we're not used to seeing or we're not expecting, and I'm sure it's going to upset the meta quite a bit.
And it's going to be well documented, which is really important, because we'll have the specs, we'll have the actual group comps, and then those can be applied by people in game. Hearthstone moves so quickly because it's 1v1. You know, it's kind of like flies evolving fast because they live a day. So
right, exactly.
They get a lot of work done.
Yeah, and at the very end of the day, I mean, if all you're worrying about, you notice the deck's a lot easier because it's easier. You just copy deck one for one, card for card. Like even if you say go watch your StarCraft finals and you see a build that you've never tried before, it takes a lot more personal skill and practice to master a new build in StarCraft than it does to just throw a bunch of cards, hit done, and go ladder in Hearthstone.
Either way, we're having a lot of people come together that haven't really competed in the same arena. And I am completely excited to see what these guys pull out. I hope it's interesting. You know, of course, the real fun comps are going to be when someone's 2 ahead and they say we can safely, on this particular map, pull out this ridiculous strategy just to see if we can, get that Raffle Stomple off. Nope, it failed. Whatever. We move on to the next game, play safe. But those are going to be the times where you should really be watching.
Yeah. It's a little bit of minor news this week. Apparently Blizzard overpriced the Halloween bundle. So there's that.
Yep, whoops. Apparently Tychus was full price in there and didn't get any sort of reduction. That has been fixed.
Right. I do kind of want the Headless Horseman mount. It's kind of cool.
I'm still saying that we had DK mode for April Fools. Like, I want to do headless mode. I want to log in Halloween Day and see everyone missing their head. Or have a pumpkin for a head.
It's
a day. It's fun.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say maybe not every hero is textured in a way where that could easily be accomplished.
Well, I mean, whose head is in their body, right? I mean, most people have a head. I guess. Well, no, Hammer even kind of pops out the top. Am I missing anyone who doesn't have a head?
I'm just thinking maybe like if you just removed it, it wouldn't look as clean as you're thinking it will look.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, it'd be like, looking up the skirts in WoW. There'd just be 2 hovering feet.
You heard it here first. Kyle likes to look up skirts in WoW.
It happens, dude, if you're a priest, man.
I feel bad for Undead because their run animation, it's incredibly noticeable.
Yeah. And then when you get on those mounts, like, I always wanted my priest to kind of ride side saddle, so... so that dress isn't being ripped in half.
Yeah. Let's thank our patrons, Kyle. Patreon.com/ITN. That is where you can go if you want to support the show. At the moment, we have Patreon load. We have 267 of you fine folks pledging to us. We really do appreciate it. We are very close to our $500 per episode goal, in which case we will do monthly ITN call-in episodes. So push it over. Go. Do it. You want to. But you don't have to. It's totally fine. Show will always keep coming. It'll always be free. But if you want to support us, that is how you can do it. This week, let's thank Sparky Shocker, Joe K, Matthew B, Endurial, and Justin T. Thank you guys so much for supporting Into the Nexus. Now, let's talk about tanks.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? That seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
And I don't mean talking about a broken game mode where you can select multiple Sergeant Hammers. I'm talking about actual tanks. We're talking warriors in today's strategy. Like we said last week, we're going to talk about when to pick which tank, when, and why, and how.
To be fair, other than Abathur, 5v5 all hammer would be pretty awesome.
Oh, you mean all Abathur would be even better?
Right, because then you'd have one like hero Abathur with 4 hats on him going out into the field. It'd be sweet.
All hammer would be pretty cool because whichever team was better at slowly advancing the siege line would probably reign supreme.
Right, you would have to, layer it, or they'd just all be boosting around and trying to push each other into each other's range. There'd be like one hero hammer that keeps going out there to try to get him. It'd be awesome.
Nice.
But no, real tanks. We're tanks. And let's go ahead and throw out the disclaimer for this entire thing. These are, of course, for your solo queue games. Tanks in the meta, tanks in the pro scene, that's a whole nother world.
Yeah,
right.
This is you're playing by yourself. You're trying to up your tank game.
Right, you're drafting at home. You need a tank, and you're not usually a tank, or you have a tank you really like, and in that case, well, that's proactive picking. You get into a game, your first pick, you say, "I love tanking. I'm going to tank." Go for it. There's nothing stopping you from taking any tank in the world. Ideally, you can talent yourself to be a solo tank with any of these guys. Now, we can cut out a couple immediately from this conversation, though. Sonya and Artanis are bruisers for the moment. They are not really capable of holding back the enemy lines, and really it comes down to a single word, and it's peeling. And people probably yelled at you in game that you're not peeling well enough for them. And basically that means you are CCing the guys who are trying to kill your guys.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up comfort picking or proactive picking. You just grab a tank because you like them, because one of my favorite first picks for me is Johanna. If I find myself... I actually don't like getting first pick, Kyle. I don't know if we've ever discussed this, but I don't like it. I like to adapt to what's going on and feel like I'm bringing something to the team. I don't like to just kick down a door and be like, "This is what I'm playing, deal with it."
Sure, there's a couple maps, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Zagara, Slam, it's mine. If I was a Sylvanas player, Slam on that Haunted Mines pick. But other than outside of those sort of meta ridiculous map picks, I agree. I would like to be at least third, so I can sort of be reactionary to the picks. And that's really where you want the tank to be, because there's a lot of things you need to take into account when you're choosing which tank you want. And it really all comes back to peeling. If you have enough stuns on your team, well, then you probably shouldn't invest yourself into a stun-heavy tank. It's already taken care of. There's going to be enough to control the field of battle. You need to be the one out there calling the shots, grabbing big old handfuls with your Leoric swing, slowing some dudes, so your mobile, stun-heavy team can get in there and take care of them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's get into it. When would you pick which tank, Kyle? And is there a particular one you'd like to start with?
All right. So let's simplify this conversation by taking cues first from your own team. What you're probably going to notice is that you have too few stuns or too few slows. If you have enough stuns, perfect. You can go with Leoric. He's your highest win rate hero with no stun. He's going to do some incredible damage. He can keep himself sustained, and he'll contribute a lot there. If you're missing stuns, if you don't have a Kael'thas, if you're missing something a Tyrande would even be maybe enough to take a Leoric, you need to go with that ETC, the power slide to relocate people, and that sort of thing.
He's very disrupting.
Yes, very. And you were able to relocate yourself. So you have too few stuns. Take a tank with stuns. Chen would be a bad pick there, because all you're going to do is jump to them, and there's nothing to follow it up. You're just there by the guys, and it's not actually performing any feats.
Unless you're amazing with Chen. As we've said time and time again, when you look at the statistics, especially on a site like Hotslogs, it gives that impression that there aren't a lot of people playing Chen, but the people that are playing Chen love him and seem to be quite versed in his kit.
Well, Chen works well into the high mobility teams, which is another thing you can think about. Look at your team, and are they all wizards? Are you Kael'thas and your Jaina's? This is going to be a team that moves very slowly. While it can be powerful to have something like ETC there, if you're in the lower leagues, you're going to find you overstep your team too often. Chen, in that case, may dive way beyond what the damage is comfortable going for, and you might actually open up opportunities for the enemy tank to go and peel your own team.
Absolutely.
It's one of the big problems with Sonya right now, is that if you overstep your bounds, she's just going to spin right past you and go on your squishies. And she has the damage to take care of them.
Yeah. And then just keeping herself alive the whole while because she's spinning. So to break it down in its simplest form, let's talk about the peeling hierarchy, because ultimately you want a tank that peels, that takes care of your team.
All the tanks have been scaled back rather well to do lower damage these days. So you need, when you're tanking, to constantly be aware. It's exactly like playing support. You can make ideas and omit certain players if they're, playing bad, or like Falstad, let's say. Falstad has barrel roll. Ideally, in that situation, Falstad is going to go ham and then barrel roll out of trouble, or use barrel roll in such a way that he will get the last hit and your team is safe anyway. As tank, because he has mobility, I'm no longer really concerning myself with him. All of my energy falls to the Jaina, who, if I can keep confident and peel well for her, is going to do amazing damage for my team.
Absolutely. The more you can do to keep the enemies inside a Jaina's Blizzard, the better.
Right, but not only that, I have to, body block shots for her. If there are skill shots coming in, like a Jaina Frostbolt on the enemy team, and I stand in between them and the would-be recipient DPS squishy, I am doing an excellent job tanking there.
Absolutely.
So those best peel options are going to be ETC, who's actually the very top tank right now for Masters League's players on Hot Slogs. Diablo has excellent peel. You do need a team that can actually maybe get you that initial snag. You're going to need a team that will benefit from having something brought actually back to them, rather than suddenly exploding when said thing is brought to them. And then Muradin. So Muradin works really well against Sonya right now. It's one of the easiest characters to think about tanking right now is Sonya, because she's just everywhere at the moment in the meta. She has extremely high auto attack damage. She has mobility because she will snag and then pull herself to you. And even though you might take blocks and all sorts of things to negate auto attack damage, make her miss, her spin is spell damage. So you have to interrupt it. You gotta blind her with your Johanna ability when she's auto attacking, and then when she starts spinning, you gotta use Condemn to knock her out of it.
Right. That's why Muradin's so good against her, because he can stun a Sonya.
Right, and that is a single target shutdown. If you're getting into a group that requires multiple dudes be shut down on the enemy team, you got a Sonya and something else. Maybe you got a Nazebo in there that's gone Ravenous Spirit. Then you're going to want to make sure you go Johanna instead, because you're going to want the pool for many dudes, as well as the heroic to get a ranged stun off.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So, pretty much a rule all across every MOBA. If you're new to the game, or you're in those, rank 40s, ranks 30s, one of the best things you can do to create an excellent comp is just say everyone gets stuns. It's a very easy way to make sure everyone contributes and calls the shots together.
That's always my advice to new players.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's a good composition? Well, you can't really go wrong with stuns.
It's why I'm favoring Kael'thas over Jaina, because I like shot calling a bit, and it is it's so much more visual than Muradin's. They just get a little spinny thing over their head, and go woo. But Kael'thas goes ha ha, and they lift in the air, and it's like ring, and there's all this music and effects, and they're up near the camera, and everyone knows to kill the Kael'thas lift.
Exactly. This is kind of what we were talking about last week when we were not last week, but on our call-in episodes, we were talking to players that were having a real hard issue ranking up in Hero League, and we were saying, well, narrow down your choices. Pick heroes that, while there are no hard carries in the game, Heroes of the Storm, that you can still affect the game in a strong way, which is why both you and I kind of lean towards telling people not to play supports if you're going into a game solo, that's why something like Kael'thas having an ability like Gravity Lapse, like you said, you get the shot call without saying a word.
Yeah.
You don't say anything. You don't even have to ping. You land a Gravity Lapse, and that's just a visual cue. This is the target, everyone. This is the person we're burning down.
It calls attention, absolutely. All right, so you got your best up there. That's the peeling hierarchy for dealing with Sonyas and that sort of thing. You are going to, if you don't have enough stuns on your team, you might want to do that Anubarak, for instance, because he's got you 2 stuns. He's got his dive, and he has his line attack. Both stun, and you can even sort of get a third with the Web Blast. And Web Blast actually cancels out things like Tranquility and 1,000 Cups from Lily. So that's a nice counter pick there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like Arthas for peeling. I love Howling Blast. While it is not a stun, it's not going to really... I mean, it still helps you against the Sonya, because it stops her from moving so people can get out of her whirlwind, but it's not going to interrupt it.
Right. One of the big things you have to do right now is interrupt it, because you got to make sure she's not gaining fury as soon as she comes out of it with her auto attacks, and that's why the stuns are more powerful than something like a snag, of course.
Well, exactly. Not my first pick against something like that, but I still really like Arthas for that ability. I'm picking it less now that we're not seeing as many double tank compositions, but he was great in those scenarios because you just have these tanks that are just walking towards you and they're easy targets for Howling Blasts.
So that's kind of the summary. I know we sort of stumbled through it, but that's a summary of cues you can take from my team. Mostly, do I have enough stuns? Yes, awesome. I'm free to take some of these more mobile, maybe more interesting tanks. We don't have enough stuns. All right, ETC, Diablo, Muradin, Johanna. I need those guys. Maybe a Numerak in certain situations.
Yeah.
So let's flip it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was go right ahead.
Awesome. We flip it. Let's talk about cues you take from the enemy team. Of course, you don't know what they're going to pick. So your last pick in this case, your tank, and you're just looking at the enemy team and you think, which one do I take for this particular comp? Okay. And from there, one of the first things you can notice is, do they have giant killer heroes?
This is such a point of contention for you, I feel like, Kyle.
Why is that?
Well, for one, the longest time, your favorite warrior was Diablo, and Giant Killer kind of removes him from a lot of equations.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's a lot of games where we're seeing the opposing team's composition load in, and Kyle's first question is, okay, who can we grab with Giant Killer? We need auto attack cleanup.
Right. If I'm going against double tank, I want Raynor because that's 2 targets for Giant Killer. It's great. There are many heroes with Giant Killer. Falstad, Illidan, Raynor, Hammer, Thrall, Vala, Zagara, actually. Always kind of surprises me.
Probably not the best pick there, by the way. Auto attack speed, I feel like not fast enough to really
You're also
capitalize
missing out on your
Killer.
major Hydra talents there, which is where the majority of your damage comes from.
Exactly. Just because it's honor, I wouldn't pick Zagara for a Giant Killer.
And we've got Zeratul. Now Artanis has an amazing Giant Killer ability. His is Titan Killer, which is really sweet. Does a ton of damage, actually, more than the normal Giant Killer.
Yeah.
But seeing these sort of picks on the enemy team mean you shouldn't go a health-heavy warrior who tanks through health. Diablo and Muradin, in fact. Muradin, whenever he uses his avatar, he increases his overall health. So you're going to hit your tank button, what you think is your tank button, and you're actually going to take more damage than you would otherwise.
Exactly. Now you have more health to burn through, but yeah, it's not a good situation to put yourself in. That's why I feel like once Artanis becomes kind of more figured out, more ironed out, that'll be a good pick because his shield, that his trait gives him a lot of survivability. This is why I like Johanna going up against someone like this, because of her trait giving herself a shield. Giant Killer's not doing as much as it normally would.
The problem with double tank comp and taking Artanis into it, though, is that it's all about CC. You're protecting something with very little. Your Jaina's, Kael'thas's in the back. Hammer isn't very obvious thought for me. Like, we have a hammer, cool, let's double tank. Because as long as we hang out in her zone, we're going to kick butt on Infernal Shrines. And if I'm having to Artanis into that much CC and that much raw damage, that's going to go really poorly for me. And that's why Raynor has become sort of the auto pick to counter double tank, because that's taken off in the meta.
So who's your go-to tank? To get back on subject, who's your go-to tank if you're staring down the barrel of a Giant Killer hero?
Right, so the enemy team is full of Giant Killers, right?
Not even full. I mean, just one that you're concerned about.
Okay. I really, really like Anubarak. I know it's not popular. This is just for me. He has great stuns. I got a lot of practice with him in the past when he was the top meta. So I still really enjoy him. I like that I have my shield that I can pop to negate some damage. And my ultimate is actually makes me rather tanky for a very short amount of time with the Locust Swarm. And I'm gaining health, not increasing my health pool in that case. Johanna is also an amazing choice against giant killers as well, because her health pool isn't huge, and you give yourself a shield, and shields don't count as additional health.
Exactly. My pick is always just Johanna. It's my best tank.
Johanna is basically the catch-all. The one thing you want to be concerned about Johanna with is you don't want to be with a highly mobile team because they'll constantly overstep you, or if they get past you for some reason, they will become scared and run in random-ass directions, and Johanna doesn't have the power to catch up to that.
Right.
So, but Johanna, has great picks. And that's what makes her sort of this catch-all warrior, this sort of first-pick warrior. Because if you find yourself in that situation where your team is running away, your team is highly mobile, they're very fast, you can actually take Conviction at level 7, which increases your movement speed by 25% when you take Condemn. There are other talents you want to take there, but giving yourself that little bit of boost could just constantly keep you up on that Illidan who's overstepping you.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I'm hard pressed to divulge from a regular Johanna build there.
It is constantly safe. I agree with you there.
Yeah. So.
The last thing you want to consider is, am I going to be stuck soloing? And think about your Muradins, your Diablos stuck in a lane all by themselves. That doesn't feel too hot. Even ETC, who has a sort of lane-wide attack, doesn't with Power Slide. It doesn't clear lanes. It doesn't do a ton of damage. So if you find yourself with a Murky and Abathur, you're gonna suddenly be missing that man and taking something like Johanna with Knight Takes Pawn, because you can just be left alone and you can manage that entire lane and get the XP for your team and not get pushed out, is going to be extremely strong. If you find yourself in that same situation, but you have enough stuns, well, great. That's a great situation for Leoric.
I'm sorry. My throat is killing me.
It's all right, dude. Sorry. Power through the pain.
I'm working on it. I'm just keep losing my voice.
And now, one last thing I want to put into your heads, and that is going to be Spell Shield. If you're going up against a pile of wizards, Anubarak, Arthas, Diablo, ETC, and Johanna, Leoric as well, Muradin, basically every tank except for some of the bruisers are sitting on Spell Shield. And that reduces incoming spell damage late in the game, but could be enough to save you as well.
I take this all the time on Arthas.
It really helps out with his tanking.
And we're seeing the meta shake up, but both mages, Jaina and Kael'thas, very popular picks right now. So not that Arthas is a popular pick, but damn it, this is popular pick for me. Everyone needs to stop raging when I pick Arthas. Trust me, it works out. I promise.
He does work better in a double tank comp, though.
That is true. Also, I've seen some Tassadars this week, so I've been a little safer too. I'm like, he'll keep everyone alive.
We got lots of comments in the chat during this. Where's the Tyrael tanks? Tyrael has his place, of course. You can do a full shield build nowadays. I ran into a Sanctification Tyrael yesterday who actually dodged a ton of attacks for his team. It was a bizarre match, to say the least, but it was well executed.
I cannot remember the last time I saw a Tyrael in a Hero League game.
The fact that we had a Lili and I was Rexar made it absolutely bizarre as to why he didn't take Judgment. Two very good targets to just run at and stun. But Tyrael has a place as long as you have enough stuns. An ultimate one stun contributed to a team that's nothing but slows isn't going to be the snag you need to win the game.
Huh. Alrighty. So, I guess we didn't really talk about Rexar much. But, again, not much of not really a solo tank. Not something you're going to be grabbing in response to your composition, or it's you're gonna need a bigger game plan there.
You're absolutely right to be confused here, dude. Like, tanking in this game is one of the most complex things there is, because peeling, it's a hard concept. This is not World of Warcraft. You are not jumping into the middle of the enemy fortifications, just going nuts, using your slows, using your stuns, and just like nothing is taunted to you. The second you overstep, something is going to walk around the back of you and destroy your squishies. So it really is like playing support. You need to constantly be looking around your team and managing who's getting the peels. And as long as you have enough peeling on your team, Kael'thas, Tyrande, all these different heroes that have stuns to contribute slows, you can pick any tank you want and it'll work out for you. The reason why we have top tanks, though, is because they contribute so much peel in this sort of solo league, hero league environment that they have risen above other comps.
Yeah, agreed. And that's why Leoric and Johanna were on top for so long. They just had this kind of all-around kit that kind of filled most scenarios.
And the damage to back it up as well.
Yeah, and the lane clear on top of that. Their lane clear not as strong as it used to be, but anyways. Any closing thoughts?
I mean, I love Rexxar. I did solo tank as him yesterday. It's madness. You feel like Misha's the planet, and you're just a satellite outside of it. And if you die, the planet blows up, and you know how awful that's going to be. So I pulled it off, man. That was the game that got me back to rank 1. I did it. Solo tank Rexxar.
I've been told to ask you about your rank 1 dance moves.
Yes, I did perform one of the whiter dances that I've ever seen.
Okay.
You can't just like skip to it. Don't go to my solo Q&A show over at YouTube/conference and watch it. Like, don't watch the last 4 minutes. It's not going to make any sense to you. It's going to be rank 1. You're going to be like, hasn't this guy already gotten this twice before? And he's like dancing and he's going nuts and like doing some Shia LaBeouf like arm movements. But you have to consider, one, that it was a 3-act. It was a climax. It was so awesome. Start up the show, first hour, I fall down, rank 3, just boom, back down there. Second act, it's the Empire Strikes Back. You know, I'm coming back, but there's a lot of hopelessness. I'm fighting against invincible odds. And then the third act, somehow through perseverance and telling that butcher to get his butt over here, I solo tanked as Rexxar an enemy double tank comp. And it can look easy. It looks so easy on the screen. I've looked at the video and be like, this dance isn't warranted. What am I doing? But I am just... the micro that it took to manage that bear as a solo tank was exhausting. And I was overwhelmed with joy.
That's just how I can't imagine you hitting rank 1 a third time any other way, Kyle, than with a hero I firmly believe has no place doing what you did with it.
Oh, dude, when that bear is sitting on the Dragonshire shrine and you are in lane, there's magic flying in the air. And people keep going up there trying to take the shrine, but the bear's just sitting there, and I'm healing her with my spell while soaking the lane. There's no feeling like it in the world.
Yeah, nice. Well, let's round this show out with some emails, man. Before you just gloat for the rest of the show.
I'm done. I'm all right.
All right. You earned it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Darkness stopped calling.
Darkness just texted me.
It's not the mober, it's a hero brawler!
Alrighty then. You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. I think we're just going to do one. My voice is leaving me rapidly. Our email today comes to us from Almighty Cow, and Almighty Cow says, "Hey fellas, I just watched the Artanis Hero Spotlight, and I'm left wondering where Blizzard's craziness has gone." Oh, this sounds really sad.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably in the minority here, but Artanis is now the third hero in a row that I don't have any interest in. Where are the crazy heroes that have made Heroes of the Storm so unique? The Murkies, the Vikings. It feels like Blizz has abandoned their wild ideas and now focused on more traditional, esport-ready heroes. Thoughts?
I think he says it perfectly there.
I think he's nuts.
Esports-ready heroes.
I think he's nuts.
Yeah?
I'm just, am I living in some world where all of a sudden we're seeing Moraleses in every pro game? No. Rexar is one of the most recent 3 and is a weird-ass hero that I don't understand, and I'm still not a super fan of the way he controls. I'll give you Artanis, but at the same time, still, while not as insane as something like Murky or Lost Vikings, his kit is still very strange. Like, yes, one of his abilities just makes him attack faster, and that's not shiny or insane, but he's strange, man. He fits a very, very bizarre, very specific role. At the moment, Sonya is really the only hero that kind of fits in that. It's this needs to be aggressive warrior, this bruiser, as you said.
Yeah. But those don't really compare to Abathur and Lost Vikings, which is, I feel like, where he's really pointing at with Where's My Crazy Gone?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I feel like we just got that in Rexar. I feel like Rexar is one of those kind of unique heroes. That sounds terrible.
Sure. Well, I think when you get to Rexar, the problem there is we have things like Lone Druid in Dota. And, we even have characters that, as their ultimate, summon something big like a golem or a teddy bear to destroy the enemy lines, and you're controlling 2 things for a little bit. What made Rexar so crazy was that Misha sort of has these bad controls, personality to her.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you go play Lone Druid, and at least to me, it makes immediate sense. But you go play Rexar, and you're just like, wait, why? Why does it control it? Why can't I just tell the bear where to go like I do everything else in Heroes of the Storm? You already have something like Vikings where it's 3 separate heroes and you're controlling all 3 independently. Why can't I control 2 heroes independently? I mean, I get it now. But that's part of my argument. I feel the way Rexar was built from the ground up makes him very unique and something that's unique to Heroes of the Storm. Morales, not super exciting. The Medevac Heroic, though, something that's just nuts. I find hilarious, and again, just gives me that Heroes of the Storm absurd feeling. Oh, and Kyle's pulling a me now, except he came prepared with water.
Sometimes you just fail at, life for a little bit, and you forget how to breathe. I'm good. Right. Now, right. We also have 2 ults in this game, so not every hero feels like it comes out with this sort of press package ready to be placed into esports, because there's this sort of meandering through. What sort of builds do we do? Because if Morales just released and it was nothing but medevac, I would call that crazy.
Right. But at the same time, too, you also have to realize, like, not every single hero can be crazy. I guess if you don't consider Rexar to be an exciting hero, or at least a non-traditional hero, then yeah, okay, it's been a while. But not every hero can be Murky. Not every hero can be Vikings. Not every hero can be Abathur. That would be insanity. You need your meat and potatoes to get to. I'm trying to think of a very obscure food at the moment, and it's failing me. I don't. But. Nonetheless, it makes sense to me. I guess I would like to comment on this after we see what is previewed at BlizzCon.
Right. If I walk away from BlizzCon without something weird in there, I will be a little disappointed.
Okay. Which, of course, leads to the question, what completely wacky off-the-wall thing would you like to see added to Heroes?
That is a good question. We know the 3 sort of that have been hovering around in the background for a long time now.
Right. Kel'Thuzad,
Cho'Gall, Vol'jin.
Alrighty.
Or some sort of axe-throwing troll. Some sort of troll. Or what's the other?
What other famous troll is there that can compete with? It's got to be Vol'jin, right?
Right, or the Zol Grub. I don't know. The one in the pictures we've seen of them like all celebrating, going yay on Sky Temple when that map came out, there was an axe-throwing troll in there.
Oh, there was?
Mohawk troll that looks like he's holding 2 axes.
Oh, okay.
He's not all Vol'jin'd up, so not really sure what's going on there.
Huh. Gotcha. I would like to see him I'd like to see them base Vol'jin off of his card in Hearthstone and have some type of health swapping ability.
Sure, I think giving him, he is a Shadow Priest after all, and giving him more power into that would really help define his character, because we have 2 shamans running around the game right now. I don't think we need any snake totems dropped by him. As fun as that would be, I'd love another sort of Gazlowy assassin.
Yeah. Which I could, after playing Overwatch a little bit today, just so many, such a well to tap from now, an additional well.
Right, I do feel like, Tracer is the sort of Mickey Mouse of that game. I feel like if we were to get one first, it would be her. There's plenty that communicate well into skins. I'm hoping we see a Xel'Naga just for my own personal geek outness. I want more monsters in this game. I love them. I want big hulking beasts wailing on dudes. And something we haven't seen yet, like Amon, would be really neat.
Yeah, I'd be down for that as well. I don't know. Those I don't think would be super wacky, though.
Sure, those would be, like, Amon seems like he'd be Arcamon, kind of giant tank, summoning Xel'Naga sort of thing. And that'd be that.
Yeah.
If we want to get really weird, we talk about some of the things they've maybe mentioned in the past, like how do you actually work Deathwing into the game with something that large? Or how do you do something like the Overmind that replaces your core, as they've said?
That would just be insane. That would be so nuts. I don't think... Do you think that would really... You could ever balance that in a way where it would work?
Well, and how do you even, make that unique from Abathur? I don't know. I mean, if you told me someone was making a hero that laid mines from anywhere on the map, I would tell you you're insane and techies suck.
Little did you know, it'd be one of your favorite heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winston, yeah, chat. He does have some good star power. He's kind of the... What would I give him? Not Goofy. Goofy's a little B-rate. Donald has his own adventures. I guess.
Talking about like Disney stuff?
Well, if Tracer's the Mickey Mouse, sort of the poster child.
Oh, now I follow. Okay, now I follow your logic. Tracer's the main mascot, so. Okay, all right. Well, Goofy had his own adventures, man. You had Goof. You had the Goofy movie. You had the Goof Troop. Freaking amazing cartoon growing up.
It was all right. It was kind of weird, wasn't it?
It was hilarious.
The drama was basically that he had a neighbor that hated him.
I loved that show growing up. But anyways,
there were some weird shows growing up, man. Like, what was the? I'm forgetting him right now. Roscoe. He was like a kangaroo, and always had to pay his bills. Like, why are you teaching kids about paying their bills? It just seemed odd.
Roscoe?
Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh my God. Okay, first of all, Wallaby, not a kangaroo.
Oh, excuse me.
Secondly,
the dude who didn't have cable growing up.
Secondly, quite possibly the greatest cartoon ever created. So
DuckTales. No, DuckTales was an awesome show. I think that might be the best children. I don't know. You got Last Airbender in there though, so I can't just.
Well, we will take this. We will take this conversation into the after show.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, that'll wrap up this week's show. Thank you everyone for dealing with my sickness. I apologize for being completely out of breath. Anyways, Almighty Cow, thank you for writing in. Hopefully we see some wackier heroes at BlizzCon. Thanks again to our patrons at patreon.com/ITN. If you listen to us on iTunes, drop us a review. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you, Flex Mundo. Thank you, Roven. Thank you, Joseph JFK. Lords of the Pings. I love that. And Zachosaurus Rex. Thank you guys for your 5-star reviews on iTunes. We really do appreciate that. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv. Check that website out for all of our other stuff. It's also produced by Declan H. You can see more about all of our shows on amove.tv. Email us at itncast@gmail.com. Catch us live on twitch.tv/amovetv, on alphageekradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at itncast. We're on Facebook /amovetv, and we're on Reddit at itnpodcast.reddit.com. Check out BrianGriffithMusic.com. He made our intro music. It's wonderful. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at KyleFerguson.com. I've shut down my store for the trip, so I will see you all when we come back November 10th. Really enjoyed giving all the lessons I got to. Thank you so much who took advantage of my services. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. I'm so happy that Blizzard is supplying us all with lanyards that have your actual screen name on them. Because other than if you called into the call episode or I've talked to you in a lesson, I know what you sound like. I have no idea what any of you look like. And a good majority of you out there probably have no idea what I look like. So this will be one of the most confusing BlizzCons I've ever been to, but I'm really excited to hang out with so many of you. Check out, follow me on Twitter, @KyleFerguson, and check out Solo Q&A on my YouTube /KyleFerguson. Check out this last episode, man. Watch it start to finish. Just enjoy the trilogy and the climax. That was rank 1 for BlizzCon.
I just want to know, I got you started on that win streak. That
You
wasn't
did,
really,
too.
That wasn't
Yes.
I guess it wasn't a win streak because you lost the game, but still. You didn't lose the game with me, though.
No, we delivered. That's actually been uploaded to my YouTube as well. That gaming night of ours. Man, you were an awesome Zagara that night. And I was inspired by your play to rather aggressively pick Zagara. I feel a little bad for this one still. I guilt-tripped a poor guy into tanking for me because I was that adamant about picking Zagara on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Are you rank 1?
I am.
Then don't feel guilty.
The end justifies the means.
Well, folks, you can follow me @GarrettArt. That's on Twitter. I'm sure it'll be an interesting chronicle over the next few days as I finally get married and stop annoying you all about it.
Finally!
Finally!
He's finally doing it, guys. It's over.
The next time you hear from me on this show, I will be a married man. And really,
never shall we speak of it again.
yeah, nothing will really change. Kenny and I have lived together for a while now. But,
Sin.
yeah, living in sin. It's fun. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Try it out sometime.
Oh, thank you, estranged family members who have been saying that to me unironically.
Yeah, well, it's a modern era. It's time to let go.
Yeah. But looking forward to that. Check out nomoonart.com. That's my graphic design portfolio. I'm at The Angry Chicken talking Hearthstone. I'm on The Angry Nerd talking to myself. And that's really about all there is to it. Check out doghousesystems.com. Use the code ITN. You get a free solid state drive added onto your gaming rig. And you can also check out tweakedaudio.com where the code ITN will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of nose-reducing earbuds. And you can check out my doctor who's trying to make me better. So that's going to do it for this week. Come on out, everyone. Come on out to BlizzCon bowling the night before BlizzCon. We'll be at the Bullmore Lanes at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That is in the Anaheim Garden Walk Mall. There's no excuses. It is in walking distance. Do it. Come out. I promise I will not infect you. It will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, we'll see you in the after show, everyone. Good luck. Have fun.
Take care.